Hey, what's up, guys? This is MugenLord here, and today we want to just pedal away from JRPGs and fighting games for a quick minute. And I really wanted to just discuss what's going on in the gaming industry right now, and I guess you could say a little bit more into, I guess you say, the console war space that's going on right now, because there's an Xbox exclusive title that's coming, and all the Xbox fans are extremely hyped about it. And of course, you have the Sony fanboys dunking on the Microsoft fanboys when it comes to this exclusive. And the exclusive that I'm talking about is Redfall, and we're going to get a little bit into Starfield as well, because I have some things I want to say about that. Well, there's some drama that's surrounding it, which we're about to get into. So before we step into this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. Now, let us continue. Now, before we even dive into this whole particular drama that's surrounding Redfall and just Microsoft in general and this whole console war thing, I just want to say that I have no dog in this console war fight, because I own currently all of the current generation game consoles right here, the PS5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, or whatever you want to call it, or whatever. And so I have no dog in this fight. I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer first. Yeah, I just want to play video games. I don't care what console is on. If the game has a certain taste or appeal to me, I'm going to buy it. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm not picking sides. Just because I'm making a video about Microsoft and what's been going on with Redfall and their exclusives and stuff like that, doesn't mean I'm a Sony fanboy. Because if you guys already know, I'm just keeping the same energy, and I've been consistent all the way through, because I've been dunking on the PS5 with their exclusive, which was Forspoken. I've been dunking on that for months. I've been thrashing that game. So I'm keeping that same energy, and I'm being consistent with it. So don't hit me with, oh, you're just a Sony fanboy, Nintendo fanboy, whatever. I don't care. I'm just calling it for what it is. So I digress. We're going to move on to this. So this whole drama that's surrounding Redfall right now, I guess you would say that there's two things that's, surrounding Redfall when it comes to the drama. The first is recently IGN had pretty much had this, I would say, first hands-on exclusive, where they have, they're the first publication, a game, journalist site that will have hands-on with some of the games, and they'll be the first to be able to promote it and, get hands-on with the game. Now, the big issue is that people have finally got a chance to see how the game pretty much essentially runs on the Xbox, and see how the multiplayer and some of the features work. And people said that, this game doesn't look that great. What's going on here? It looks like garbage, compared to what people have seen with the game, earlier with the many different game demonstrations that they have shown off. And really, people were really upset, saying, this game, what's the hype surrounding this game? And then, of course, you had people who was pointing out, said, well, it's IGN, and the person that was demonstrating the game essentially sucks. So the game didn't really look as promising, it didn't look as fun, because this person that was playing the games, and I don't know why game companies insist on getting these game journalists who has no idea how to play these games at all to demonstrate these games. So instead of it helping Arcane Studios and Microsoft, and as far as the promotion is concerned, it actually made the game look a lot worse. So I understand, yes, some of the gameplay aspect and the person that's playing it has a lot to do with it. But a lot of people's pointing out is how the environments didn't look as great, the texturing didn't look as great, and even as well as the frame rate that people was pointing out, and people were saying, like, what the hell is going on? So we're going to move over to what the second issue is, which is going to tie in when it comes to the frame rate, because just, I guess you could say today or recently, Arcane Studios had announced that, this game is going to release in I guess you say, only in high quality mode, 4K, 30 frames per second. And the performance mode, which targets the 60 frames per second, is going to come out at a later date, which has a lot of people in the gaming industry, YouTube content creators, and even the fan base of the Xbox really scratching their head. And of course, it added more fuel to the fire for the Sony fanboys, who really want this game to not do too well, and for the Xbox fans. So now, I want to discuss this for the simple fact is, we're currently in the next generation of consoles right now. This now is called current gen. And what baffles my mind is how are we in this current generation of the console, and yet we're still getting below performance, visuals, frame rate, and everything. What is going on here? This should not be happening. We have PS5 and Xbox Series X, and yet you're still pushing out games that's either locked at 30 frames per second, or is this just dipping below at 30 frames per second, or can't even hold a stable 60 frames per second. And the more concerning thing is, and I'm talking to the Xbox fans, is those who only play on Xbox. You really gotta hold Microsoft feet to the fire here, because these guys are literally telling you that, hey, we're going to release this game in its current state, that we can't get a performance, because I prefer performance over quality anytime. If I had to choose between 4K or 60 frames per second, I'm going 60 frames per second every time. 60 frames per second is just a quality experience. It's much better than how a game visually looks when it comes to resolution. Give me 60 frames per second anytime. And it baffles me how you have some people on Twitter in the comment section saying that, oh, it's not really a big deal. And I talked about this before on Twitter, man. You had people literally, because we talked about Gotham Knights on Twitter, where people was pretty much defending why Gotham Knights is 30 frames per second. And people say, and then this one guy literally said, and if I can find the tweet again, I'll post it here in the video if I can find it, because I think I saved the tweet. And he was literally saying that there's no difference, that the human eye can't tell the difference between 30 frames and 60 frames. And my mind was like, it just exploded. It just baffled me that somebody even said something like that you can't tell the difference between 30 frames and 60 frames. I said, this dude either a troll, he's just throwing out a bait, or this guy really mean that. And people was arguing with this dude, said, dude, you can't be kidding me. And so you got people who's completely fine that Redfall is going to release on day one at 30 frames per second. And I think this farther perpetuate this thing for developers, because it's all about us gamers, man. We want the best. We want the best experience as gamers. And at some point, we gotta step our foot down, because developers are getting away with the fact is that, hey, we can just put out a incomplete game or a rush developed game, and we'll just later on patch these games. We'll patch it to the quality that it's supposed to be at launch. And all it does is hurt the gamer. So as far as people speaking with their wallets, I really believe that Xbox fans should really pull back from this, because we already seen what happened with Suicide Squad. I mean, there's no saving Suicide Squad. I'm sorry. I don't care how much delay they're going to do. It's not going to save it, because it's baked into the code and how the game plays altogether. So it's nothing they can do. But enough fans were upset about this that they decided to delay a game to a whole nother year, to 2024. So if the performance mode is only going to come out a month or two later, then why not just push the game back to another month or two later when it comes to this game? Because they should not release this game at only 4K 30 frames per second. It's ridiculous. And Xbox fans, y'all really should voice your concerns with this. And I've been defending Xbox for quite some time, because if you've been following my videos, you heard what I said, that Microsoft pretty much abandoned the Xbox One. When the moment the whole DRM came into place and Kinect being a major factor in the Xbox One at the time and everything, by the time Phil Spencer jumped into the rings as control over Xbox, and people was wondering, well, where's the Xbox exclusives for the Xbox One? Where's the exclusives? Where are these games and stuff? And I said, listen, guys, the writing was already on the wall for the Xbox One. I said Phil Spencer, in my personal opinion, is focusing on their next console, where they can start over fresh, and they'll have a bunch of new games already ready for you guys to essentially enjoy. That the Xbox Series X, at the time we didn't know it was the Xbox Series X, but the Xbox Series X is going to be the console where Microsoft come back with vengeance. That you guys are going to get the gaming experience that you've been waiting for, that you deserve, and everything. And I've been a high defender of that, and I still stand on it, that Microsoft Series X can turn all this around. It's just a matter of when these games are going to drop. They've been acquiring studios and everything, and since the Xbox One, they've been acquiring studios. So I said these new studios gotta be working on new titles for the next system. So we're going to just get hit with a wave of just exclusives after exclusives, or just titles after titles that Xbox fans that can essentially enjoy. And here it is, we in year 3 of the Xbox Series X. And what's going on here, especially, I'm just saying for the Xbox fans, what's going on here? For those of you who only game on the Xbox, and to me, I don't really care too much about exclusives, because I play, most of my games are more so third-party multi-plat games on all my consoles. I do, and the only thing that's fully exclusive is Nintendo, because Nintendo, that's the only way you're able to play most of your Nintendo games, because when it comes to multi-plat games on Nintendo Switch, I don't buy them. They're just inferior versions of them, of, you know, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X versions and stuff, but I digress. But we're in year 3 of the Xbox Series X, and you guys are just getting sprinkles of games, and then we just keep getting either delays, or we're not getting, you know, hard confirmations of when we can expect these games to release on the Xbox Series X, which is adding more fuel to the Sony side that just keep clamoring you guys, clowning you guys. So at some point, Xbox fans, you gotta hold Microsoft responsible. And I've been defending Phil Spencer, but I'm starting to say that, yo, Phil Spencer, y'all want to fire this cat or something. Something needs to be done. Like management need to be wiped clean. Y'all gonna need some new leadership. Y'all gonna need something, because how can Phil Spencer allow Arcane Studios to release this game at 4K 30 frames per second? And I'm gonna give you my personal opinion about Redfall. In my personal opinion, I'm not really into first-person shooters anyway, but I just never seen that what was the hype and what was the draw to Redfall to begin with. To me, it looks more like, it looks no different than Back 4 Blood or Left 4 Dead type games and stuff like that. It's just another run-in-the-mill third-person shooter. I just never seen what the hype is anyway to Redfall. And it just sucks even more at the fact is that these guys are about to serve you a game that's not really complete. They about to serve you a game that doesn't give you options at day one, that you have to wait for an update to give you the option whether you want to play with quality or performance. And that sucks. And Microsoft fans, you guys really need to step up and start calling these guys out at Microsoft and start holding these people responsible, these developers, the management, everything responsible, because this is ridiculous. But move on to the next first party exclusive made by Bethesda right now, which is Starfield. This is another game, in my personal opinion, I don't see what the hype is about Starfield. I don't see what the draw is. To me, the game looks generic as hell. And the frame rate, if you guys, I'm saying right now, if you're disgusted about the frame rate of Redfall starting at 30 frames per second, I think you're going to be delusional if you think that Todd Howard and his crew is going to give you Starfield out the box at 60 frames per second. I don't think this game's ever, unless you're playing on PC or whatever. But for consoles, if you just playing on Xbox, you're going to be delusional if you think that this game, Starfield, is going to release at 60 frames per second. I don't think it's ever going to reach 60 frames per second for the Xbox Series X. I can almost bet that at this point. And as far as Starfield is concerned, to me, it just looked like Fallout and Skyrim in space to me. I mean, I know I'm probably ignorant, and you guys can call me ignorant. I don't care. You can call me ignorant in the comment sections. I really don't care, but I do not see what the draw is to Starfield. The game looks generic as hell. Even the textures look, it looks bland. It really does. And it just looked like Fallout and Skyrim, but just in space. It doesn't really have anything that pops out and stick out to me and say, yo, this game is going to be a masterpiece, or this game is going to be one hell of an experience. This game looks generic, and I don't understand, and I don't see what the appeal is, especially at the Fallout 76 with Todd Howard, that mess that he pulled with that. And to me, it seemed like they didn't learn anything. It seemed like this is another rush job game. This seemed like another game where they're not really putting their all into it. They're going to put low effort into it because they know that you guys are going to go out here and you're going to buy it. And they know that they can just patch whatever issues. They'll address these issues after they got your money. And the fact is that they kept delaying this game is another big issue. Like I said, I'm always a proponent. Delay the game until the game is good. Like Shigeru Miyamoto, the father of Mario, always said, I'm paraphrasing, a rush game will be a bad game forever, but a delayed game, will pretty much essentially, what you would think would give you a better experience or be a better game if it's delayed. You know what I'm saying? So I know I probably messed that up. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head when it came to that quote, but you get the point that I'm saying right here. But in this case, I think it's just issues going on with the game, in my personal opinion, with all these delays. Like Todd Howard and them, I don't know what they're doing back there with this game. I think this game they're being quite ambitious with it, but I also think that they're just being, the management and the tools that they're using to make this game, I just think they're cutting corners. To me, I think they're cutting corners with this. And after seeing the gameplay, when they showed the initial gameplay, and then months later they show more gameplay, it doesn't look impressive to me at all. It really doesn't. And I think Todd Howard's going to pull another Fallout 76, as far as we're going to just, don't judge the game based on how it's released, but judge it, over the course of time. And that, I think that's just the best. No, I think that's just the worst approach to game design, in my personal opinion. And all it does is just perpetuate the issues that's going on in the game industry, and these developers just getting away with it when you have gamers just coming in and just constantly just feeding into this bull crap. But that's pretty much my overall opinion in this. It's not really looking well for Microsoft right now, and you got Microsoft fans just holding on to every shred or every thread of hope with these two exclusives that they pretty much hold into high standards, and to fight back against the Sony fanboys, and bragging about. But in my personal opinion, I just think these two games are going to be essentially a letdown. It may not live up to its expectations. And I'm not saying that they're going to be bad games, but I'm talking about in overall, as far as performance is concerned, bugs, and I just don't think it's going to live up to the hype. I think that these games are rushed, they're cutting corners, and I think Microsoft management really need to get their shit together when it comes to this. This should not be happening. We 3 years into this current generation of consoles, and yet we still have these consoles still pushing out 30 frames per second. Like, that doesn't make any sense when it comes to these games. Like, and we're still doing cross generation games. Like, what the hell is going on? But that's pretty much my overall thoughts. Definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment sections below. What do you think about the whole Starfield and Redfall, and with Microsoft, Xbox, and their first party exclusives? I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you an Xbox fan? Do you only own an Xbox? I'll definitely like to hear your thoughts on that, because I want to know what my demographic is, when it comes to gaming on consoles. I want to know, like, do we have any Xbox diehards here that follow me here on YouTube and in social media? So I definitely want to know that. And if you're not an Xbox fan and you're an outsider, how do you feel about this as well, and these turn-in events? So if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell, because it definitely helps me out here on this YouTube channel. This is MugenLord, signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.